Okay. Man, this hair today, I don't know. It's it's what you get. Connectors, what's up? DK here. Hope you're having a good day. It is the 15th of November. We're coming to the end of the year for most of my non-profiteers. It is end of year, so you are finishing up your current budget, getting the final stats together, doing that final push for end of year giving, and then it's on to 2018. And for many who follow the calendar year as your fiscal year, a new budget. So let's talk about the budget. Yes, I know. This is a boring as hell conversation piece. I'm not going to get into the real nitty-gritty blocking and tackling dollars and cents of a budget. I just want to talk sort of big picture about what a budget is and what it isn't, because I think too often, especially younger non-profiteers, we get caught in the wash when it comes to dealing with a budget. Okay, so first things first. A budget really is just good guesses. It's just good anticipation, especially if it's a first-time budget. If you're doing a first-time event or a first-time initiative, you are taking a best guess at things. So do not feel like your budget is the end-all, be-all. It sounds terrible when you say this is the best guess because a board or a donor or expectations are this budget has been worked on by NASA scientists and worked to the absolute precision of perfection. It's just not. With budgets, what we're trying to do simply is have a good grasp on what this thing is going to be, whether it's an initiative, a new program, our budget for our organization, where we stand currently, where we want to go in the future, and when we go those steps, are we making incremental steps positively or negatively, and where we need to adjust things. Another way maybe to think about a budget is sort of like a flight plan. There's an idea that we're going to get from A to B, and we're going to put in the charts, we're going to go this way. But if there was a storm, if there's a problem, we're going to veer off course. We're not going to set our sights on that budget line and say we can't move from it. We're going to move as we need to be safe, secure, to protect the investments that we have, to move ourselves to our end goal, but we're going to have a line that we can base ourselves off of. For me, that's what a budget really is. Now, I know what you're thinking. Those of you on the board side, those of you that follow these videos, but you're more on the board of directors side, you're going to say, hey, DK, wait a second now. I have to be sure that this budget works. I have the important job of being on a board of directors and representing this board and representing the best interests of an organization. This budget has to be perfect. And what I say to you is, no, that's not what it is. Budgets give us good ideas as to where we stand. Budgets give us good ideas that what we can think in terms of expenses and revenues coming in, coming out, and how we can determine a best practice. If you are living and dying by the budget you have, then you are just filling in numbers. And there is no way that the day-to-day operations of your organization, whether it's on the programmatic side, marketing side, administrative side, there is no way that hitting those numbers makes your mission positive or negative. Those numbers are just sort of in the air. They're not anything other than arbitrary, with some science to it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying here that budgets are worthless and don't do them. Budgets are a good signpost. They're good guides. They're to let us know where we are and where we're going. But if you follow it through the letter of the law, if you work so hard to get these numbers prim and proper, I think you're kind of missing the point of where we are to budget. I'll tell you what I think is the most important part of the budget. It's the budget narrative. So what's a budget narrative? Well, if you haven't written a grant in the last 2,000 years, you might not have ever seen one. But a budget narrative sounds exactly like it is. It's just here's the line item. This is the chunk of the budget, and it's a narrative. It's an explanation. It's a paragraph or two explaining what this number is talking about, or what this expense is going to be, or how this revenue is going to come in. I think the bigger story of your organization can be found within the budget narrative, because numbers, we could just throw those up there. I mean, if you have a donor and a donor says to you, I'll give you $100,000 to do your organization's needs, and you just take that $100,000 and divide it evenly among every single line item you have, is that really an effective way to use that person's grant money? Is it an effective way for your organization to operate? Is it the most effective way to move your mission forward, eventually getting to what is like the ultimate vision of, for my opinion, most nonprofits, all nonprofits, quite frankly, which is that our services aren't needed anymore because we have solved the riddle. We have figured out what the challenge was, and we've identified it and solved it. Does that do that just by dividing by the number of line items you have in a budget? What if you had expenses that were not planned for? What if you work in a community-oriented thing and there is a natural disaster? Things like this are going to occur, and so at that moment, budgets are radically changed. Well, if you're thinking about that only in terms of the worst of the worst, the most tragic, the crisis, those kind of things, and not for everything else, I just kind of ask yourself, why? Signposts and guides, that's what budgets do. They give us an idea of where we are, where we're going, how we get there. But by living and breathing your budget so much to the point where all you're doing is making sure that X equals Y and we never deviate above those formulas, then you are actually working toward the numbers as opposed to your mission. So, when working on budgets, what do we do? First is to be crystal clear what exactly you want to get out of your budget, what exactly you want to bring to the forefront. And that's why I believe that the budget narrative is so strong, because it gives you the ability to describe what in the heck you're trying to have this budget represent. So every time I do a budget, I try to write some little comments on each of the line items to say, this is what I would use as my justification for this number, even if it's something as simple as office supplies. Well, we have to have an idea of what that's going to be. But the bigger ones are the most important thing. Programmatically, we often have to tell our donors and our supporters where that money is going and really, really be good accounting for that. And you can do that within your financial management plan. But for the budget, the idea that you're putting this down ahead of time and hopefully hitting those numbers because they feel like that's the best approach. That feeling is just that. It is a signpost, it is a guide. So don't get caught too much into the budget cycle that you're so stressful of where we're going and how it's going to be done, that is the only reason your organization exists, to hit budget numbers and to make sure that you're in compliance with the numbers that you made 12 months ago for something that you literally are just figuring out where we are in the moment. I can already feel it. I can already feel the comments coming back to me. DK, you're underplaying the value of a budget. You're underplaying the need of budget. It is a big role that boards have to play. It is. It is a helpful tool. It is a strong indicator of where you are as an organization in terms of its overall organization. But again, all I'm saying about budgets is if you simply think of them as they are, signposts and guide, if you see that for what it is, then a lot of the interplay of the internal communications and back and forth between budget and staff, executive director and board leadership, this push-pull that we constantly battle all the time, we could put it in a better perspective and realize that this is not the war that we're here to fight. These are battles that are for best practice and for best positioning. It's actually not the battle. The battle is against whatever it is your organization's mission is set to do. That's where you want to be focusing your attention. So this is simply to give you good guidance. It's to help you understand where you are. It's to be fiscally responsible, don't get me wrong. But the game is not, let's hit these numbers and see how well we hit these numbers. The game is for us to be successful for our donors, to be successful to our program folks, the people we serve, our clients, our customers. So guys, that's all I have for today. I really do appreciate your time and do thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and share this around the internets. We would really do appreciate it. If you got a question for me or a topic you want me to cover here at Connect the Dots Movement, you can email me right here at doug@connectthedotsmovement.org. We are also on Facebook, so like and share in the Facebook world. We're right here at facebook.com/Connect the Dots Movement. We're also on Twitter. Twitter is a great place where I get a lot of topics, a lot of questions. And I'm coming up, I forget on the schedule when it's coming, but I have another Q&A queued up, ready to go. So if you want to get in a question that you want to ask me about anything, and believe me, if you go back in the past videos, you see some of the questions I get. Some of them are pretty nuts. If you want to send me a question, please do. I am at WeConnectDots. You can always hook me up there, and I will answer your questions as best I can. Guys, again, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I do really appreciate it. My name is DK. This is Connect the Dots Movement, and you have just been connected. I'll see you around. Nonprofit power.